All right, guys, let's read the definition of a sheep. Someone who mindlessly follows and emulates anything and everything in the name of fame, recognition, a waste of flesh and brain cells. But that first part, that first little sentence right there, someone who mindlessly follows and emulates anything, everything in the name of fame. Now, mindlessly follows everything, right? Now, I say this because a few days ago, some random guy on Instagram posted this post on Instagram where he basically says, breaking news, uh, Team Fury paid someone in Deontay Wilder's uh, team to basically spike his drink. And he even went as far as to say a doctor has confirmed that the damage that Wilder received in that Tyson Fury rematch was suggests that Fury had basically loaded gloves. Now, this guy who posted this is a random guy, right? A guy that no one has ever heard of. No one has ever heard of. Just some random guy, right? Comes across as a guy who is a big Deontay Wilder fan because he's coming up with this fabricated story. Well, of course, what happens? As soon as this guy does this, you see every single LDBC dude upload videos to their channels and reporting this news, saying that, in fact, they have sources. They have sources. Their sources is that guy who wrote that post on Instagram. That's their sources, fellas. That's their sources. That guy, some random guy who wrote a post on Instagram, that is their quote unquote sources. They saw that and they ran with it. They ran with it and then they uploaded videos and told you that, you see, this is proof that Wilder was cheated because this guy on the internet said that he had that he that Wilder basically was cheated on against Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury had loaded gloves. So this is why I say they like these dudes in the LDBC are the type of dudes that any negative story that comes out of a fighter that they do not like, they immediately run with it. They don't look for any facts. They don't look at facts, nothing like that. They just run with the negative story and immediately go with that narrative. And then they all follow each other. If you notice, they all repeat the same thing to try and convince their gullible fans that this is the truth. Right? This kind of reminds me of like when that young Pharaoh guy came out. When Wilder lost to Tyson Fury, this young Pharaoh guy, a guy who never talked about boxing before, came out and accused Tyson Fury of having loaded gloves. And the entire LDBC ran with the story because they saw this guy say it. That's the type of boxing fans that the LDBC are. They see a negative story without any facts, without any proof. They immediately run with it. This guy on Instagram claimed that uh, a doctor confirmed it. What doctor? I want to know the doctor who confirmed this. I want to see news articles. Like, this guy could have made this entire thing up. This random guy that no one ever heard of. Just like this guy who never talked about boxing before on his YouTube channel just made up that random thing where he felt that Fury had loaded gloves and he cheated against Wilder, right? And then all these guys follow him because one thing I noticed about like the followers of the LDBC is they kind of they they are it's almost like they're attracted to the LDBC because they have the same mindset of the LDBC. Whatever the LDBC hears that is negative about a fighter that they do not like, they run with it and they report that, and they do not change their minds. They stick with that narrative forever. No matter how long, no matter how many years pass, they always stick with that narrative, right? The followers of the LDBC, they're the same way. If they see that the LDBC say something, they immediately agree with them. They go and they bash anyone who disagrees with them, and they act like, no, this is proof, 100% proof, because this guy in the LDBC, he came out and he said this, so that means it has to be true, right? Because 78 Sports TV or Blue Blood Sports TV came out and said this, right? So therefore, it has to be true. But that's the type of boxing fans these guys are. They uh religiously, in my opinion, they religiously look at anything negative, regardless if they have proof of it, of a fighter, and they immediately report on it. And they say, you see, this is the truth. You know, that's the type of fight of people these dudes are. They're brainless.